The customer has complained that the compressor in this unit shuts off and no error of any kind appears. The compressor runs for a while and then shuts off. So let's start it and see what issue is occurring here. I have already installed the compressor with the analyzer, and I will now power the PCB. I have connected the power and the PCB has turned on. I will turn it on using the remote. Look, it has started at 18 degrees. I have set it to 16 degrees now, and look, the compressor has started. The rotary compressor symbol has appeared on the display. It is running properly. Look, as soon as it started, the compressor started as well. Now we will keep an eye on it, because the customer said that when this mark disappears, the compressor also stops. So it is running properly, absolutely fine. The IGBTs and everything are completely fine. They have opened properly, and its indoor fan motor has stopped. I think it is not compatible, so that is why we will turn it off for a while. The system has shut down. Now look, it has started blinking here. Let's see how many blinks there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. We are getting 32 blinks. It gives 32 blinks and then shuts down again. And look, its compressor had started, but this mark has now disappeared. And here, the error has appeared again. F0. Look, the F0 error has appeared. Now I have turned it on once again, so when the error appears, it does not turn on automatically. We have to turn it on again using the remote. So I will turn it on using the remote. I have turned it on. The fan has started, the indoor fan, and here it has gone into the error state. No, it has now become stable. And its compressor has started. Look, when the compressor starts, this mark turns on. So this is the rotary compressor symbol, indicating that the compressor is running. But after 2 or 3 minutes, it stops. So let's give it 2 or 3 minutes. Look, its speed has increased. Now it has increased its speed, so we will keep an eye on it here. Let's see if this light turns off. Now it is running perfectly fine. As you can see, there is no issue with it. Absolutely. But because this is open and there is no gas, this issue is bound to occur. But still, let's see what issue comes up. Right now it is not initiating any kind of error at all, and its compressor has not stopped either. So we will wait here. Now it is shutting down. It is slowly shutting down. It has shut down. And so far, no error of any kind has appeared. The system has now shut down here. Now, the company has provided some protections in this PCB, through which these open IGBTs installed here have to be protected, and the rest of the circuit also has to be protected, so that these IGBTs do not get damaged due to any overvoltage or undervoltage. Similarly, there are some protections to protect the low side and some protections to protect the high side. The error appearing on the LED 32 times is the L2 error. This means that there is a fault in its drive. By drive, I mean its IGBT. Its busbar, the high DC busbar, has a fault, or because of its protection being low or high, the microcontroller is shutting down the system. Now, there can be 2 types of faults here. First, if for any reason an IGBT becomes faulty here, any of these diodes installed here, or the IGBT installed here, can become faulty. Apart from this, these IGBTs installed here which run the compressor can be called the compressor drive system, or drive IGBTs. Now look at this system. There are 2 capacitors installed here, as many of you friends may already know. These 2 capacitors are charged through this IGBT. This inductor helps a lot in charging these capacitors, because if these capacitors lose their charge, the compressor cannot operate properly. Now what can be happening here is that either this inductor or this reactor may be faulty. Apart from this, if these capacitors become weak for any reason, then this can also cause a problem. In addition to this, the company has installed 2 types of protection here. Look at this. Here, there are 2 shunt resistors installed to calculate the total load here. And along with this, there are 3 shunt resistors installed here, each of which is connected to the negative side of each IGBT. Now the bus bar is these wires that are coming here. These are their bus bars. Now the current or voltage flowing between them is either becoming high or low, due to which the microcontroller is putting the entire system into protection mode. Now, the microcontroller gets the information about the voltage going high or low on these bus bars through these 2 ICs, which allows the microcontroller to understand that this problem is occurring here at this moment. And if I show you here a little, look at this. Something is written here. So look, it says here PFC L2. So the L2 here can also refer to this section. That is why the error can occur in this section as well as here, because the information from here is going to these two operational amplifiers from both sides. Now, let's understand how this system works. So look, this is the bridge rectifier installed here. Its two center points are where the line and neutral are coming in, whereas this cut side is the positive side of this bridge rectifier, which is connected here through these two pins. And where are these pins going? So look, this is the positive side of the bridge rectifier, and these two pins are connected here. And this wire here is directly going to the reactor. And when the charge or current accumulates in the reactor, it then comes to this point. Look here. When it reaches here, it is connected to the diode here as well as the IGBT. So when the IGBT conducts, the charge accumulates in it. And as soon as it turns off, meaning the charge stops accumulating here, then through this diode, look here, this wire has come here. And from here, look, this is the anode side of the diode connected here, and this is its cathode side. Now look here, this IGBT is installed at this center point. So this is its gate, this is the emitter, and this is the collector. When the current accumulates at the collector, when the current accumulates in this reactor, it has to discharge this current somewhere. So as soon as the IGBT turns off here, that current goes through the diode from the anode to the cathode. When it reaches the cathode, there is a barrier ahead so that positive current cannot flow back. Therefore, these two capacitors installed here, which I have already shown you, get charged. When they get charged, the compressor then continues to operate smoothly through these IGBTs. Now, as I told you, L2 means there is a drive bus over low voltage problem. This means that these capacitors are getting low charge for some reason. One possible reason could be this reactor. If it is not working properly, then this problem can also occur. Here, look, if this IGBT does not work properly, then this problem can also occur. But if the IGBT is not working properly, what will happen is that it often becomes faulty. And when it becomes faulty, the PCB itself does not work. So, since it is working, the chances of it being faulty are very low. And the chances of the reactor being faulty are also low, because the customer has the same problem. And now the same problem is occurring here with me. My reactor is completely okay. If their reactor had been faulty, then as soon as I changed the reactor, this should have been fixed. But it was not fixed, which means the reactor is not at fault. Rather, there is a fault inside this PCB. Then there could be another problem. As I told you earlier, if these capacitors become weak internally, or if they leak, then it will be visible. They may burst for some reason. But if they become weak internally, then this problem can still occur because the charge here is not being collected properly, which can cause this problem. Now, the information regarding the charge of these capacitors is going from this point. So, at the cross points of these shunt resistors, look here, 2 points are going from here. And if we follow these 2 points, let's see, keep following them, they are entering these 2 resistors from underneath these resistors. Look, 1 point is going this way, and the other point I think is going this way. Yes, these are the 2 resistors. After this, as it goes forward, this information is being fed into these 2 channels of this IC. Now we will start testing this PCB and see what fault it has. So, first of all, we will power it. The system has been powered, the PCB has turned on, and the outdoor unit has also turned on. Look, the LED here has turned red. Now I will turn this PCB on, so we will do it like this. For now the PCB has turned on, so let's check its voltage. First of all, we will check the voltage on these capacitors. We should get proper voltage here, up to around 320 volts. So look, we are getting 306 volts here, which means the capacitors are charging. Now we will check the voltage on this PCB and see what voltage we are getting on these 2 operational amplifiers. Its number is SGM722XS. Now, as I told you, these shunt resistors are installed here. This side of them is the back side, meaning the side connected to the bridge rectifier. I have checked it and its trace comes here. So, look, these 2 lines that you can see here, the traces on my right side, come and pass underneath these resistors. So here, look, this is the 681 resistor. From here it goes through this 330 ohm resistor and this 680 ohm resistor. Look, the trace passes through here, and along with it there's a 6.2 kilo ohm resistor, which is connected to ground on one side. Look, it comes and connects here. Look, there is another 6.2 kilo ohm resistor here, and 3.3 volts are coming at its cross section. So going around from here, it comes to this point. This is pin number 1 of the operational amplifier, whereas this is its pin number 5. Pin 5 is its non-inverting pin, so it comes here. Similarly, this other trace on our left side goes around here. Look, this is the 681 ohm resistor, and then there is a capacitor connected between them here, and this 330 ohm resistor, and then from here it goes around to this side. This particular trace then comes here. This is its pin number 6, which is its inverting pin, and then its output is connected to two 6.2 kilo ohm resistors. Similarly, the trace from underneath goes around from here. Look, it comes to this pin. So it comes over this 000 ohm resistor that is installed here. And from here, passing through this, it comes to this and connects with this diode as a safety precaution. Then going around through this diode, it comes toward the microcontroller. Now I will power the PCB. I have powered the PCB. The system has turned on. The outdoor PCB has also turned on. So first of all, we will check its operating voltage to see whether the operating voltage is reaching this operational amplifier or not. For this, we can also take the ground from here, but it would be better to check it from its own ground. This is the ground pin, and we will connect to pin number 8. So we are getting 3.321 volts here. Like, the voltage here is completely okay. We will take the ground from here, and on its pin number 5, we are getting 0.405 milliohms here, meaning 405 milliohms are reaching here. Similarly, let's check its pin number 6. Here as well, it is almost the same. And let's check its output. We are getting an output of 1.65 here. Now, on this side, we will check what we are getting on the other side of its operational amplifier. So we will take the ground from here and check the operational amplifier. Its pin numbers are 1, 2, 3. So let's check pin 3. There should be no voltage here. Absolutely no voltage. Similarly, let's check pin 2. There is no voltage on pin 2 either. And let's check its output, which is pin number 1. And there is also no voltage present at the output here. So this means that it is completely okay here. Now, similarly, we will check the other operational amplifier and check the voltage on it to see what voltage is being generated here. So we will take the ground from here, and its pin number 1 is on this side. This is the pin. This is pin number 1, so this is the output pin. But first we will check whether its operating voltage is reaching here or not. So this is pin number 8. Similarly, this one on this side is pin number 4, so let's check here. So, look here, we are getting 3.316 volts, which means the operating voltage is reaching it. Now, we will take the ground from here again and check it. First, on pin number 2. So, what are we getting on pin 2? 407 millivolts are coming here. Similarly, let's check its pin here, and we are getting the same here as well. It is completely okay on pin number 3 as well. And let's check its output on pin number 1. We are getting exactly 1.659 here. It is reaching this point, so it is okay. Similarly, let's check pin number 5. So, this is pin number 5. We are also getting 407 millivolts here. Just as we saw, 407 millivolts are being generated here. Now let's check pin number 6. It is also the same. And let's check the output of pin number 7. And here, we are getting 1.66 volts. So, it is approximately okay here. Now this PCB has become completely okay. I have fixed it completely, and what the fault was, if you have watched the video up to this point, then go and check it in the member area. There I have shown what exactly I fixed in it that solved this problem. Because in the member area, I have made and explained all of its diagrams completely. And look, I have all these pages with me, so you can only see them in the member area. You will not find this video anywhere else. So, I will see you in the member area. Click on the left or right thumbnail to watch our next videos. And subscribe. Thank you.